Hi there, Tad Hargreave from Marketing for Hippies. Today we're going to be talking about testimonials, how to get them, but also how to use them in the most effective way. And there's lots of opinions about this, but for what it's worth, here's mine. So first of all, in terms of how to get them, well, if you're doing workshops, let's say live or online, it's really important to make sure that you spend time during the thing to get the testimonials, instead of when it finishes up, sending out an email or just saying to people, hey, could you send us a testimonial? It tends not to work. But if, you take 5 minutes at the end, you say, if you'd be willing to write us any feedback or testimonials, as we wrap up, that would be great. You give time in a workshop, you actually take the moment before it's over, before you get to the very end, you pass it out. And of course you can do it. It might be a little brash to just ask for a testimonial, but you could ask for feedback, and you can ask very specific questions. So the first thing is give time for it. Second thing is ask very specific questions. If you just ask for a testimonial, most people kind of mind snaps. They don't know what to do. They go blank. Even if they've had a wonderful time, it was a 10 out of 10 experience, they're not going to be that eloquent necessarily or know what to say, and they're going to want to say the right thing for you. So if you can give them very specific questions and say, look, if you'd be willing to answer these questions, and they can include questions, feedback and all that, then you can turn that into a testimonial, which you share with them and say, look, we kind of edited what you said. How does this sound? And if they agree, then you can put it up. Gesundheit to me. Okay, so number one, make sure you give enough time for it. Number two, ask specific questions. Number three, here's just a helpful thing in terms of whether you even want to ask somebody for a testimonial is, and I've done this for a while, you can ask people, what would you give this experience from 1 to 10, 10 being amazing, 1 being not very great. So then, to me, if they give 7 or less, I wouldn't ask them for a testimonial. If it's an 8, 9, or a 10, I'll ask for a testimonial. So there's that. That's a way you can kind of gauge whether you want to go deeper with them. But and oh, by the way, the second question that you can ask, let's say you say, what was this experience like for you from 1 to 10, and let's say they put anything less than a 10. You say, okay, the second question, what would it have taken for this to be a 10? And that gives you really good feedback. So what I'm trying to say is this process of asking for testimonials is also a really important time to get feedback so you can make what you're doing better. And I'll put a link to a blog post below where you can read some of the questions that I would suggest that I think are most useful for getting good testimonials. And then there's the how do you use them? And there's a few things. Okay, so we want to go back to why do we even have testimonials? The point of testimonial is to add some kind of heft or credibility, believability to your claims. So number one, the placement of them may matter. If somebody has a testimonial about how fun your workshop was, and you have a point in your sales letter where you talk about how fun the workshop is, well, put the testimonial there. Same on your website. If there's a particular part of your website where you're trying to make a particular point, you have a testimonial that says it, put it there. I mean, on my website, I gotta redo my website, but there's a whole testimonials page. It's fine, especially if you've got some bigger names that are endorsing you, that's fine. But really those testimonials are best placed at the point where they're gonna make the point you want them to make. So there's that. There's also then, how do you design the testimonial in such a way that it's going to have the most impact? Okay, so we want it to be credible. If you have a quote that says, amazing, says AJ from Texas. It's funny, actually, as I'm talking, just remembering a story. So there's a fellow I know, and he's a fairly well-known author. And he gets people sending books and CDs all the time saying, hey, would you give a review? And, he just doesn't have time to read or even look at them all. So he got a CD, a music CD. And he sent them an email back because he always would reply with something. He says, thank you for the CD. It's always nice. I won't have time to listen to it, but it's always nice to receive a gift. And then he goes, he's in Santa Cruz. He goes into this place called oh my gosh, what was the name of it? The Staff of Life grocery store. And there it is, this big stand selling the CD that was sent to him as a gift, and it just says ... a gift, and then this fellow's name, as if he'd given a testimonial. So anyways, these kinds of things happen. But yeah, if it just says amazing, says AJ from Texas, well, who the hell is AJ from Texas? Why do I care? So a few things you can do. Number one, the full name of the person. And if they have a website, the website. If you can put the where they live, that. You see what I'm saying? It just adds believability that this is a real person we're talking about. Second thing is a photo of the person. I think is very handy. Just suddenly turns it into a real words from a real person. Third, you can add a little headline to the testimonial where you say the 3 to 5 words that you think are most important, like doubled my income as the headline to the testimonial. People aren't going to read every testimonial, but they might scan and read the ones that are most relevant to them. And here's another. This is a gutsy move. I saw Ari Galper do this on unlockthegame.com. And he actually invited people to give their phone number in the testimonial, which I did because I loved his stuff. Unlockthegame.com, 10 out of 10 for me. And so I had my phone number, and I don't think he does that anymore, but once a year or so, I would get a phone call from somebody saying, is this Ted Hargrave? Yes. It's like, well, I'm just calling from Ireland, and I just saw your testimony on Unlock the Game. Oh yeah, Ari's stuff is great. And he said, and he knew it was weird that he's calling me. I know that he knows it's weird, but I'm actually happy to talk, So I had a few conversations like that over the years. But you see what I'm saying? Adding a phone number, suddenly, they believe in this enough that they would put their phone number there, like call me to talk to me. So, will people do this? Probably not everybody, but if you feel like you've got the goods, it does add credibility. So you see what I'm saying? Anything we can do to the testimonial that makes it just this, that people can see this is a real person. Because I think a lot of people, oh man, I remember when I had some health issues and I was looking online, I found a product that seemed like it would really help. And there were all these testimonials from doctors, but when I tried to find those doctors, they didn't exist. There was no doctor by that name at those hospitals. So they just made it up with stock photos. So people are very suspicious of testimonials. So anything you can do that shows this is not made up. And of course, a lot of testimonials are written for books, are written by the author of the book. Because, they send it to somebody and the person says, oh, I love you. I saw your talk and I thought it was really great. And I don't have time to read the book. So they'll actually send them a pre-written testimonial, which goes on the back. I mean, do you think Jack Canfield has read all those books? For real? I think Mark Victor Hansen read all those books? No. But, it's based on trust and all that. So people are rightly, properly suspicious. Okay, but here's the other thing I want to say. So, of course, you want to give time to actually get it during the workshop. That's important. So people have time to write these things down, get the feedback there. Don't wait till after because you won't get it. If you do have to wait till after, God, offer a gift of some kind, a free hour of coaching, randomly picked or something, Or we'll do a group call for anyone who gives a testimonial. Free ebook for anyone who gives a testimonial, something. Okay, but you give the time. You ask very specific questions. You craft the best testimonial you can. You get permission to use their photo, their website. You say, here's what I'd like to put up. There you go. Would you like to volunteer your phone number? Maybe, maybe not. Trust your gut on that phone number one. But you might be surprised. And then here's the last piece, though. And of course, place it in the right place where it has the most impact. But also consider the importance of the power of case studies versus testimonials. This is probably a whole other video, but I'll just tease it with this. If somebody's giving you a testimonial, there's probably a whole story behind that experience. So let's say they came in with lower back pain, now they don't have it anymore. Well, the testimonial is a certain level of credible, but if you can tell the whole story, I remember when Jane Smith came to me, she had lower back pain and here's what was going on. And you could go back and forth, your words and theirs, because there's stuff that you saw that they're not aware that you saw. So when she came in, what I noticed what was really going on was that her hips were rotated in a certain way, and this was putting pressure, or that, her sacral area was all locked up, and that's what the back pain or the leg pain was about. And so here's what we did, et cetera, because you're going to probably be able to speak to the process you went through, your point of view about it, the diagnosis you had much more eloquently than they can. And then what you're showing people is, here was the before, the during, the after. Somebody came to me with this problem. Here's what we noticed, and here's what we did to fix it, and here's the result, and here's their words themselves that they're saying, you know. So a case study, a story from a client is so much more powerful. This is something I need to do with my mentorship program because I've got them, I just haven't written them. So you see what I'm saying? It's so credible, and part of the credibility is it's not just going to be read as hype because it has your point of view. It's going to make sense to them. I mean, there's a whole point of view marketing ebook I've got, a bunch of videos. Maybe I'll put a link to those below as well. But the case study allows you to express your point of view in a concrete, located, situational way, as opposed to just theory and abstract. It ties it into something concrete and real. So those are some of my thoughts about testimonials. If you like this video, please click subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube, and then the little bell button can notify you when I post a new video. If you're watching us on Facebook, like my page. And if you have any questions about testimonials, put them below. If you have any other thoughts or examples or links to things that you think might be relevant, please put them below. And if you have any questions about marketing that you'd like my point of view on, yeah, leave a comment below because you never know. This video was a response to a question from somebody, and maybe I'll do one for you too. So that's all for today. Thanks.